Netanyahu is the first supporter of the Islamic movement Hamas, which broke Israel's back in front of the world. One, if Britain is the creator of political Islam in the Middle East, then Israel, led by Netanyahu, is the first supporter of the Hamas Islamic Brotherhood movement. Netanyahu's goal was to weaken the Oslo Accords. 2. On October 29, 2023, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu deleted his tweet on the current Twitter 9 platform, in which he accused the leaders of his security services of negligence regarding the attack of the Palestinian Hamas movement on the settlements surrounding Gaza on October 7, 2023, but the Israeli people agreed that Netanyahu is primarily responsible for this disaster that broke Israel's back. 3. The following accusations were brought against Netanyahu: a failure to anticipate or prevent a Hamas attack on Israeli territory. B. Deliberately empowering Hamas, for decades as part of Netanyahu's strategy to sabotage the two-state solution based on the principle, land for peace. For Netanyahu, for many previous years, had been working to strengthen Hamas' position against the Palestinian Authority, so that Gaza would remain on the brink of abyss, while weakening the Palestinian Authority. This is what actually happened on the ground. 5. The Hamas movement and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu were strengthening each other, meaning that they were providing each other with a means to continue using force and rejection, instead of making sacrifices and concessions, in order to reach some kind of peaceful solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. 6. In the previous Netanyahu government, the hardline Israeli minister, Avigdor Lieberman, was the first to announce in 2020 the following: that Netanyahu sent the head of the Mossad, Yossi Cohen, and the Israeli army officer responsible for Gaza, Herzi Halevi, to the Qatari capital, Doha, to urge the Qataris to continue sending money to Hamas. It is noteworthy that Lieberman complained that Egypt and Qatar were angry with Hamas and were planning to sever relations with it, while Netanyahu suddenly appeared as a defender of Hamas. 7. Netanyahu's policy was to keep Hamas alive and moving on the ground against the Palestinian Authority. A year after the Netanyahu government begged for money on behalf of Hamas, pictures of bags full of money going to Hamas became public and scandalous. Israeli Minister Lieberman resigned in protest against Netanyahu's policy towards Hamas, which he described as Israel financing terrorism against itself. 8. The Minister of Education, in the previous Netanyahu government, Naftali Bennett, also denounced these funds, and also announced his resignation. 9. In 2013, Yuval Diskin, former head of the Israeli Shin Bet security service, told the Yedioth Ahronoth daily newspaper, "If we look at the matter over the years, one of the main people who contributed to strengthening Hamas is Netanyahu, since his first term as prime minister." 10. On March 12, 2019, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu defended Israel's regular allowance of money transfers to Gaza, saying, "This is part of a broader strategy to keep Hamas and the Palestinian Authority separate." Netanyahu added, "Everyone who works against the establishment of a Palestinian state must be in favor of transferring funds to Gaza, because maintaining the separation between the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank and Hamas in Gaza helps prevent the establishment of a Palestinian state." Netanyahu also insisted that neither money nor construction materials given to Hamas would be diverted to military purposes. 11. In August 2019, former Prime Minister Ehud Barak told Israeli Army Radio, "Netanyahu's strategy is to keep Hamas alive and thriving, even at the cost of abandoning the Palestinian citizens in southern Gaza, in order to weaken the Palestinian Authority in Ramallah." Barak added, "The logic on which this strategy is based by Netanyahu is, it is easier for us to be, with the presence of Hamas, so that we can say to the Israelis, there is no one to sit with, or to talk to, especially since Hamas is a terrorist group." 12. Israeli opponents of Netanyahu's ideology see the following. A. Hamas, with its rhetoric and open hostility to Israel, and its stated intention to never share the land with Israel, has played an important role, in the hands of Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, in being able to tell Western governments that Israel does not have a true Palestinian partner for peace. B. Netanyahu's support for Hamas's rule in Gaza allowed Netanyahu to limit and weaken the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank and divide the Palestinians into two opposing blocs.
حتى نستطيع الاستمرار في نشر الفيديوهات. مع الشكر الخالص لحضراتكم. برجاء اضغطوا على زر الاشتراك والإعجاب حتى نستطيع الاستمرار في نشر الفيديوهات. مع الشكر الخالص لحضراتكم.